the Minnesota Pubcast. Or MN Pubcast or something. What the fuck do we call this show?
I don't know.
I still want it to be the Pubcast.
The Min.
We need to be big enough to just call it the Pubcast. Someday.
Wow, we can just own our pride, Minnesota pride, for a while. That's fine.
Are we proud?
I'm pretty proud.
I think I'm proud of being from Minnesota, but I don't think I go around like blasting it out to
I think
people.
I do.
Like, really? If you go to town, you really can't wait to tell them you're from Minnesota.
Yeah, I love to see their reaction, and then I love to completely counter their argument.
To mess
why.
with their beliefs.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do there?
And but they make fun of your accent right away, right? They usually do with me.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. So then we started at a disadvantage. It's like somebody from the South when you can make fun of them for their accent. You already start out as you're looked at as dumb by other people, and I don't like that.
So my sister lives in Portland, Oregon. She's lived there for probably 20 years. So she's she's lost. She's an Organian.
Is it Ganian?
I think it's Orgonian.
Is that the homosexual population calls themselves, or I think it's
Organite.
Oregonians? Oregonian? No.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
she's
part of them now.
She's gone over there. And
join the dark side.
Yeah, she likes this podcast. Thank you, Jennifer.
Aw.
But she's like, oh, it's just so cute. It's so cute because you and Jason have such strong Minnesota accents. I'm like, no, we don't.
Wait,
She's
hold
like,
on.
Oh, you do.
Is this what you were telling me recently? Said that you compliment me
Yeah.
well?
Compliment.
Yeah.
As in COMPLE.
You're a great sidekick. You know, you're a.
No, we compliment each other well.
No, but the way that it was sounded was
No.
so awful, and I would have been mad if I were you. The way you put
We
it to me,
compliment each
was that you're just
other.
no, but the way it sound was like, oh yeah, you compliment him,
No.
like I'm the show, and
She
you're
says,
just like
I
a
even
little
you
side
out,
part of it.
and
Okay,
thank
good.
God
no.
I'm there.
All right, good. No,
Or
that
it
was,
wouldn't be it would just be a disaster.
all right, okay, that's good. It's good because my ego would not have been able to take what I
Right.
thought you were told.
Like, essentially, it doesn't work without me, so.
right. There is no show without you.
Half
okay.
the Minnesota.
What do you? Okay, we gotta go movies. I mean, we've done it the last 3 shows now, but we have to because, frankly, we are in an age of some great movies, especially this year.
But I also have to note that I didn't get to see
The latest one. That's why I won't tell you anything really too much about it. But now let's start from the beginning here. Since we've last spoken, I have seen Gone Girl, Birdman, and American Sniper.
Okay.
I think that's it.
That's a
Because
good
I
one.
had seen Boyhood before, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
So, and
you're
you
3
have
up
not
on-
seen Birdman?
You're 2 up on me.
Right.
I
Birdman
haven't
and
seen-
American Sniper.
And I haven't seen Boyhood.
Oh,
But
you haven't seen
I've
Boyhood
seen
either.
Grand Budapest, and I've seen Gone Girl, so we're even there.
Okay, yes. Those 2 I've seen both, too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, let's start where we're on common ground with Gone Girl. First of all, I can't believe I waited this long. I know we do a lot of spoilers on this show. With Gone Girl, if you haven't seen it by now, where have you been? Like or read it.
Yeah.
And I looked at it as I was late to get to it. So if I would have heard, in fact, I was sitting at the bar last weekend, with a couple of friends, and thankfully I was in a really, really heated texting argument, so I didn't hear what they were saying. But they were basically they kept going, earmuffs, Jason, like
Sure.
But I couldn't get mad. Because I've had plenty of opportunity to see that movie. So if I haven't by
too
now.
long.
So, what? Okay, first of all, did you love that one? I know you liked it, but did you love it? I don't remember because we haven't talked about it much because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it changed, I love it because I love David Fincher.
Okay.
And I love all of his movies generally. It didn't affect me as much as Social Network did, and it didn't affect me as much as Girl, the Dragon Tattoo did. But I thought it was fantastic.
See, I thought it was as good as Network at least. Maybe better. I like Network a lot. I guess I don't think I loved that one. Maybe I should see it again. But Gone Girl, okay. Again, we're assuming you've seen it. If you haven't, skip 5 minutes into the podcast. But
I just said turn
or
up.
go away.
Turn
Hey,
up.
you already started it. We're good. We've got to listen. You're a listener. We're good. Okay, so this is one of those movies where I'm sitting there for the first probably 45 minutes to an hour going, I'm annoyed. Now, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's really well done, but I'm thinking I know what happened.
Wait,
so I'm annoyed by
you
that.
don't know what happened.
Right.
You were never spoiled.
Right, thankfully. I had no
it was
idea.
Never spoiled for
and
you.
I kept hearing things about, like, something about the girl. It's something, but I never, thankfully, put two and two together. I never heard, obviously, the keywords that would have been, hey, and again, spoiler alert, but hey, she's not dead. So once that kicked in, now I was fully on board. Like, I was then that movie became extremely interesting to me and was so well done. And there's so many movies that rely on a twist to make them good, but I think that movie A did and B it worked. I think that it was awesome because of the twist.
Once she becomes the protagonist, because before he's the protagonist, right?
Yes.
Like, you're kind of rooting for him, and he's the one that's kind of carrying the story. For when it switches, I think that's when the story becomes much more interesting, because not only she is like one of the best parts of that movie. Am I right?
Yes. No, she's great.
Her name is Rosamund Pike, for any of you who don't know. She's been nominated.
But hold on now. I don't remember rooting for her.
You didn't root for her?
No, I hated her.
You hated her.
When she came back, even still covered in blood, which didn't make sense.
Why didn't it make sense?
Because she had gone somewhere to get cleaned up. But yet she came back and still had blood on her. I'm trying to... Now, there's a specific scene where she comes back to the house, but she had gone... Okay, between being the victim... Okay, Jesus Christ. Between slitting a guy's throat and going home, to me, I was under the impression she had stopped somewhere.
No.
So they just brought her straight from the crime scene and just directly home.
Point. That was
Why
the
was
point.
she still? But then she wasn't covered in blood enough. But again, this isn't the point.
She was completely covered in blood.
Anyway,
God.
for those who have seen this, hopefully you're fucking feeling what I'm saying. But anyway, that's not the point.
No one's saying that.
But when she walks up and they hug and he says, "Fuck you, bitch," or "You fucking bitch," or whatever he said to her, that's what I loved. That's what I loved, and I was still on his side because she was insane.
Bitch.
She's fucking.
Yeah,
she's
great.
She is into ruining lives. That's what she's about.
A sociopath.
Yeah,
That's
and that was fascinating.
Or a psychopath,
yes.
or something.
Something path. She was something path. Absolutely. No, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was so well done, and I guess I don't know what I was for some reason I was not expecting that much from that movie, and I don't know why. But I guess I was just blown away, and thankfully, because I wasn't expecting too much from that one. But now I don't want to tell you anything that you don't want to know, and you have to see it. But in Birdman, I just have to say was okay with Boyhood. I think I told you when we talked about it. 20 minutes in, I'm going, this is just fucking awesome. Like, this is just such a cool movie.
Sure.
I was actually with a friend, and I looked over at her probably about 40 minutes into Birdman. I'm just like, this is an awesome movie. Like, this is just so well done. So, artistically, fantastic. Have you been listening to Kroll at all lately?
No.
The last, week, I don't know, somebody talked about Birdman, or he watched Birdman probably, 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And he keeps talking about you don't need to see it. You don't even need to see it.
Some of these radio guys I've been listening to multiple radio guys. I don't know what it is about their personalities. Bernard says this as well. You do not need to see Birdman. He's like, no, you need to see that. It's I can't.
And I
said this long ago. They've both been on the anti art movie train, and I don't know if this is. Do you think this is an art movie, or is it just a good movie?
I think it's an art movie that also is so about things that people go through,
Okay,
about life experience.
So you think
it's
that
not just
anyone
art.
would? You think anyone would like this?
Yeah,
movie?
I think you could. Yeah, I don't think you have to be a huge movie buff. Which, I don't even consider myself a huge movie buff. I'm hoping to someday be one, but I don't consider myself a huge buff.
Did Jeff get tots?
Jeff got Tuscan tots. We are live at Burger Mo's tonight, by the way. Oh yeah.
Oh, that looks so good.
Tuscan tots, for those of you who don't know, are tater tots with garlic Parmesan seasoning all over them. Oh my God, they're so good.
I'll just sit over here and enjoy my beer, which, by the way, I'm drinking a Prairie Path.
From Two Brothers.
Two Brothers. It's Blown Ale. It's almost gluten-free. It has some cross-contamination or something, so they can't put gluten-free on there. But I'm trying it anyway, and it's pretty great.
And now, as we've talked about before, you are celiac. If you get... And you're not the type where you get any gluten and you're dying, stomach aches, all that, right?
Well, I could go into a long story for you. I just really don't think.
No, give just the short version, though, because...
So here's the thing. If you're really careful, when you have celiac, generally your intestines are super healthy, and you by mistake get a little bit of gluten, you're probably fine. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're just cheating all the time and you're just not being careful, your intestines get damaged. Therefore, you are unable to ingest any amount of
So
food.
those people become more susceptible to the effects
there
that
are
bring
different
on.
levels of sensitivity. Thankfully, I've heard of people not being able to walk into a brewery because of all the kind of the stuff in the air, and they're more like sensitive from their skin and just like overall. I have to eat something in particular. And I'm not saying I don't get sick, because I do, but I'm also generally very careful and cook a lot at home and things like that.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I go out to eat all the time. I don't know why I just said that.
Okay, I was going to say, you're a little young to be sitting around and cooking at home
I
all
do
the
love
time.
to cook, though. I mean, I have to.
And that's a good thing. You kind of should, being that you do have to watch it a little
Exactly.
more.
I mean, if I were to go out to eat all the time, I'd be getting a little ill.
All right.
Okay, so
let's go
Boyhood,
Seth
Birdman.
Rogen now, because this will bring us into Sniper, which you haven't seen, but
You saw it last night.
Yeah, I saw it last night. I won't ruin it for anybody, but I will. I have no problem saying that, and I feel like I'm not. I never go out on a limb here in this way, but like what Rotten Tomatoes gave Sniper or American Sniper is also valid. It was like a 74, I think,
Sure.
and I think that's right on.
Okay.
It's a movie. It's a war movie. That's it. That's what I got from it. But I did like, or not like necessarily, but you may or not have heard that Seth Rogen came out with a little tweet saying that, boy, American Sniper looks a lot like the propaganda film in Inglourious Bastards, which is also about a sniper who is very, very successful,
It's
but
played
happens to be
by-
a Nazi.
Wait, hang on. It's played by. Is that the part with Hank? Who played? No. It's the guy that falls in love with a French girl. The young soldier. Correct. Who
Plays that role in the
plays that
propaganda
role.
film. I don't even remember closely enough.
Do you
Great
remember-
movie. I love the movie, but I can't remember the propaganda film itself. Actually.
He kind of gets what is like the Nazis' version of the Purple Heart, and
Yeah.
he goes up to the cafe and he sees the movie theater owner there, the beautiful French blonde girl.
Yep.
And he tries to go on a date with her.
Right, and she hates Nazis, right? That's that. Yes.
Yeah, well, her family.
She's the
was
one
killed by
that
Nazis.
kills
Yes.
Hitler in the theater. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and of course, Rogan catches a lot of flack because you can't compare anything that we ever do with anything that's wrong. But
Well,
of course, you
especially
can't.
that has to do with the American military.
Right.
Let's be real for a second there, Seth.
And what? Okay, first of all, what he said, whatever your politics are, was fucking valid. And I don't even care if everything that this movie said Chris Kyle did or not is true. It's a propaganda film that's pro-American military.
So
That's
you
what
think it is pro-war? I mean, that is the whole
Yes.
thing
Oh, yes.
here
Oh,
is
yes.
that people are just saying it's a good movie and it's just a story.
Yeah.
It's just a story. So you really think that Clint has an agenda?
Stories portray other human beings as, being other human beings. Stories portray two sides. Stories are much deeper than
So
this
you
movie.
don't think they gave the whole they didn't did they portray him as a hero throughout the whole movie?
They made it to where it could be slightly conflicted, but there's no way you walk out of that movie not going, that's an American hero.
That's an American hero.
just can't- and
Chris Kyle.
Literally, the 20-year-old
Bradley
chick next to
Cooper.
me is crying.
Oh shit.
I mean, like, it's true tears, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And you know how it ends, right? I mean, you know what happened to the
Yes,
guy?
I know what happened.
So
Yeah.
And I'm going... Have you ever heard the Carlos Mencia joke, though, when The Passion of the Christ came out and he's in the theater and everybody's crying and he's going, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you crying? I read the book. I know the end. It's kind of the same thing with the Chris Kyle thing. Like, everybody knows what happened to him.
that
and what-
movie was
and these
intense,
people are still
though.
crying. The Passion?
Oh,
Really? Intense?
God.
The movie fucked
Oh
my world
God.
up.
It was
Jeez.
just like I had to walk away from it about, as the journey starts with the cross on his back. I was like, yep, I'm out. Peace.
I've never
Not
seen
watching
any
this
more
shit.
violence in my life. I
Oh,
mean,
my
really,
God.
like, I've watched
They
war
went
movies and people
full
being blown
throttle.
up. Like, no,
They
The
did
Passion
not-
of the Christ is
They did not screw around with that.
no, one of the most wicked things I've ever seen in my entire life. So, okay, for what I just said, do you even want to see Sniper anymore?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I want to kind of form my own opinion on it, I guess.
Well, yeah, but do you? How much of a chance do you think you're going to go into this and walk out and go, "Wow, Jason was totally wrong. I completely saw this as just a good film." Like
I don't know.
I have a feeling you're going to come down on my
like-
side on this.
I like kind of action movies, but I also just might be a little disturbed. I mean, they're like Seth Rogen essentially portrayed it as Nazi propaganda, but the American version, Michael Moore called snipers cowards. And so you get the reason why I think this movie is getting so much press and probably better reviews than it deserves, kind of skewing it up or whatever. I think it's because you get this, how dare you say anything against our military? And that's half of our country. If you're a Republican, a hardcore Republican, like a true, GOPer, you would never say anything bad about the American military, ever.
Yeah, it used to be part of the... If you couldn't have your card unless you said the military never does anything wrong.
Yes.
And it's what's so funny about that, and this is why I hate politics and hate all of it, is that these are the same people that hate Obama. And if Obama is dropping bombs with drones, that's bad. But get another Republican in there, Romney wins and drop those bombs.
Yeah, right.
It's just, wait a minute, hold on. Either it's wrong to drop bombs on innocent people or it's not.
Right.
Or they're innocent or they're not.
Right.
Or there's so much to it that is... It's so easy to just go, look, I love my country, and he's an American hero.
We're fighting
it's
for
just
freedom.
So easy to say that.
It is.
It's so much easier to say there's two sides to that story.
Right, and it's easier, especially when you're dealing with one individual in the military. You get liberals saying a lot or Democrats saying a lot, I don't support that war, but I support our troops, right? That's kind of the safe way of doing it. Like, I support the men and women who serve, the individual men and women who serve, but I don't support the overall agenda of the war. And, this movie is focusing on, the whole time, a single person in the military. I haven't seen it, but I'm just guessing. That's the point of it.
You got the gist, yeah.
So how do when you can never, especially when liberals are the ones that would never pinpoint a single person in the military, because God forbid.
Right, and it's one of those things where I was actually, and I tried to go in with an open mind because I kind of didn't think I was going to like it to begin with, but I tried to go in just look at it as a film, but it didn't even, it had opportunities where it could have shown Iraqis in a, like I said, in a light where, they're human too. And it never didn't. It just didn't to me.
Isn't that a huge part of the Iraq War was there were people in the military getting to know Iraqi civilians? I mean, they were a huge part of their day-to-day lives over there. It wasn't like they were disconnected, and it wasn't like they were looked at as evil. I mean, a huge goal of that was for the troops to get to know civilians and really help them out, because civilians were the ones that were really being fucked over by the Taliban.
And they're the ones that are getting pissed off when we're dropping bombs in the wrong places and killing their friends and family.
Right.
I mean, and you're creating those civilians become insurgents real quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we can go off. I don't want to make this into an anti-war tirade or anything, but
no.
I'm just. If you want to see, and I've told you this before, but if you want to see something that shows all sides of modern day warfare, you've got to go watch the HBO series. Why can't I think of it right now?
I don't know.
It's the 8-part series about the first part when we went into Iraq, the second time after.
It's like Band of Brothers.
No, obviously a little later.
I know I was going to say it before you said Iraq.
Well,
you have to look it up.
I'll look it up.
I mean, this whole thing, American Sniper is fascinating to me, especially after watching. You don't have it on our list tonight. Generation Kill.
Look it up. Sorry.
You don't have it on our show schedule tonight, Jason. But I wanted to talk about the State of the Union.
Yeah, no, and I forgot. I had it in my ideas, but I didn't. I watched a 6-minute video of it, and I was so bored out of my mind. I'm so glad I didn't watch the whole thing. But I would love for you to tell me everything that you want to about it.
If you tell me you're going to be bored about something, then I go start talking about it.
I'm not saying I'll be bored about what you have to say about it. What I'm saying is that, to me, it was just another fucking speech.
It wasn't another just a fucking
and I know.
speech.
You thought it was great, so that's why I do want to hear what you thought about it.
I think there are a lot of facets to it. I think it's a super interesting aspect, view of how politics are right now with the economy vastly improving. And
vastly improving? Really?
Really?
What actual indicator in your life have you seen other than gas that says that?
Besides the fact that the fucking unemployment rate is below 6%.
Okay, again, I don't want to go into minutia too much.
And the stock market is higher than it has been.
How do you determine the unemployment rate?
How
do we determine the unemployment rate?
Oh my god!
How do we take people off of those numbers?
Don't even fucking. That's so insane, Jason.
Why is this insane? When people stop looking for a job, they don't count anymore. How is that not unemployed?
Because it's. Oh my god. I can't even. Okay.
No, please.
Anyway.
Please try to combat that argument. Tell me why I'm stupid.
Because I think that is measured a different way. I just do.
They measure it to make them look good. That's how they measure it.
No, they don't. Because 3 years ago, the fucking unemployment rate was almost at 10%, and no one was lying then. Like, it was really fucking bad.
It was at 20% when they said that.
People are, and not only to mention, if you're going to get into the fucking semantics of where they pull the report from and who's measuring this and who's doing that, blah, blah, blah. Besides the fact that it is dropping, okay, let's pretend that it's not really at 5.6% or whatever they say it is. Fact of the matter is that it is dropping, and it has been dropping, and there's less and less Americans who are, they're reporting a better lifestyle. They're more comfortable. They're investing back into things. They're buying more homes. They're buying more cars. They're doing all these things that show that the economy is growing, that people now have the money again to start doing the things that we did back in 2005, 2006, whatever that was, before the fucking economy crashed. So anyway, I found it very interesting when you are going into a speech where for the first time in 5 years you have the president in a really 4 or 5 years, right?
Since the last what?
Since 2000 and I don't know.
Since the collapse, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2009 was the financial collapse, I think. 08, 09.
And he didn't really have much good. It's like 2010 was a big healthcare speech. Like 2009, 2008, they were bad years. Really bad years, and people were really struggling. And I don't think that struggle is there anymore, whether we're going to get into semantics of what exactly the unemployment rate is. It's interesting to see the Republicans respond, and it's interesting to see kind of how Obama is framing things now. He's not leaning on each other and hardship and helping. It's like moving forward, and what is he going to do next? And it was a very no bullshit speech, and it was kind of like, look at what I did. I won twice. This shit's working. How are we going to move forward from here? Like, he didn't even talk about healthcare really, because he knew
it's a fucking boondoggle, but
no, because it's in place and it's happening, and he got it done, and he's just going to move forward.
Okay, everything you just said is why I stopped paying attention to politics, because if that's a Republican up there and he says the exact same things, I think you're questioning it. I think you're going, well, where is he getting those numbers?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I
okay,
don't
tell me
question data. And but the things that he said last night are things that I very much agree with. There have been 4 or 5 years in a row now where I really have been super worried about our country and worried about him and unhappy with what he's been doing. And like, is this going to work? Is like, I never questioned his morals or his strive to do something great for this country, but I really question of whether he would actually get over the hump. And I think right now it's showing, and now he's able to continue moving forward with things like, very inexpensive childcare, because he was saying like people cannot afford to put their kids into childcare, and people don't have sick days at work because we're one of the only countries that doesn't allow that. People they were paying too much for college, and so he gave 3 very good reasons: free education for community college, very cheap child care, and what was the last one I said?
I already forgot.
I forgot too. But anyway, there was a couple very specific things that he wants to do in the next few years that I'm like, that fucking makes sense. Like, it's just, he was just on last night. He was just morally right. Just shit that just makes sense for the middle class. So anyway, it's interesting to see where the Republicans responded, where they clapped.
I read today a girl that has been a complete Obama supporter. This is what's interesting. I guarantee you two are politically aligned. And she was saying how she's so just done with him. She thinks he's full of shit. The Obamacare is bad. She said that up until even up until the speech last night, like, she was pretty much a supporter, and she just lost all faith in him. So I just find it's very interesting that you're saying.
I honestly don't know how you could have last night. It was
if you get anything out of a speech, to me, that is it's nothing but rhetoric, literally. I mean, it's literally nothing but rhetoric. And frankly, he hasn't done
what do you mean?
This country,
nothing but rhetoric.
The economy is not doing well.
He passed the biggest healthcare overhaul in the country, and that, according to people, was rhetoric.
And you can't even get on it. My buddy tried for a month to
I
get
was
on it.
I was on it for 6 months. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying literally the website doesn't work.
It does work now. If you go on and you try to do it, it does work now. And
now that you can't, it's past the deadline.
No, it's not. It's open enrollment right now. It's rolling enrollment.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I just don't get that 10 million more people in our country are insured now.
Great for insurance companies. Fucking boondoggle for them. That
it
is
just
awesome.
doesn't. I'm so fucking against the fact that how our healthcare was run before, and at least it's a step in a new direction. It's just like, it's
I'll
insane.
give you that.
It's
the way it was
insane.
done was a joke.
It was a joke, and at least we're trying something new, and Republicans don't even want to fucking try it. It's just crazy.
Well, how did we get the first Medicare prescription drug plan?
I don't know.
That was Bush.
I'm like, I don't know.
That was basically.
Look it up. I don't know.
My point being, he led the way to Obamacare. I mean,
okay.
The whole thing.
What did Romney do in Massachusetts? He also went on a smaller scale.
Yeah. Well, Obamacare is Romney-care. My whole point of this is, again, this is why I hate talking politics. Government has a agenda. It's not Obama. It's not Romney.
You put these people
they
on
have
this,
an agenda.
you put these people on this evil pedestal.
They all are.
They're not
I
though.
hate
You know
them
how many
all.
fucking politicians I know, and they're just doing their fucking job, and they're there to actually get things done. And whether or not the system in some way does impede us from really getting stuff done, which is frustrating. It's more of a system. You're looking at these individuals as individually they're evil and they're horrible, right? When really we should be looking at kind of the system as a whole. How do we overhaul election reform? How do we make things more smoother running so it gets rid of this kind of bureaucratic bullshit, right?
Yes. Those things are never talked about.
But
term limits?
Listen.
When was the last time you heard term limits brought up?
Well, that's true. I mean, people talk about it all the time, but that's one of those hard things to get in.
Because it would actually change
It's
stuff.
right, and it's how do you start those conversations? And I think those are the hard things to start, I think. But we need to stop.
Because this is emotional.
We need to stop demonizing the individuals that we represent. They're not out there. Some of them are obviously there's going to be bad eggs, right? There's going to be people that are there to kind of have their own agenda. But I think generally these people are there because that is something that a lifelong passion, and they do want to make a change.
You don't think that it's like a lot of other things? There's a little bit of a personality type here, where the type of person who wants to make laws that govern others, aren't they already predisposed to having a certain personality type?
Well, I think in any job there's going to be a type of person that maybe works best, because you have to think a certain way and you have to act a certain way. I think politicians tend to be just more this is maybe me because my personality tests always tell me that I should be a politician. Just people who lead and want to promote change and inspire others, and I think that is a part of it. But I don't ever blame the individual people. I don't think George Bush was an inherently evil person like some liberals do. I don't think he was. I don't think he was here to ruin the country. I think we've been getting a little caught up in this kind of this bureaucratic bullshit and this cycle of what we have with we need to just reform certain parts of our system, and I think that's where we're going to get better rather than demonizing individuals.
See, again, I don't even think we need to talk about the individuals. This has been my point ever since I stopped talking politics. Is I don't think Obama does shit. I don't think he'll make any difference in any way. He's been told what to do.
I just don't understand how you can seriously not think that he hasn't done anything the past 8 years. It's really crazy.
No, what I'm getting at now is in this specific instance, I'm saying he's a puppet. Whoever the president is a puppet.
They're not.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not. Okay.
They're all puppets.
They're not puppets. God, it's just that's such it's such a cliche stereotypical
both Republicans
thing
and Democrats
to say.
do whatever they're paid to do. That's my point.
Okay.
By whoever pays them. And usually it's both groups pay both sides.
I think you should really listen to this speech. There's a whole fucking thing at the end. Obama talks for 5 minutes about this.
Remember, I was at his groundbreaking speech here at the XL.
I think you should.
There's nothing he can say that's going to impress me.
I'm not asking you to be impressed by him. I'm asking you to just listen and just take it in. It's not. It's his confidence is back, but it's in a completely different way, and I think it's super fascinating to see how it's changed over the past 8 years. I think it's super fascinating, and whether you think he's just spewing out more rhetoric.
Well, but don't you think he's a lame duck anyway? I mean,
no,
he's not using. He doesn't take any balls to say what he said. He doesn't have to get reelected. What does it matter? I mean, honestly, this is what lame duck presidents do. They make a bold prediction and then it doesn't matter because they don't have to worry about what the results are. I mean, again, this is why I hate talking politics because it's
but, okay, but if he has nothing to worry about, then he can go ahead and do these fucking crazy ass shit. I mean, he
doesn't have Congress, so he can't actually do anything. He can say
and last night
rhetoric,
he threatened
anything he wants.
He threatened 2 huge vetoes last night. It'd be really interesting to see if that actually has to come to where he
How
has
many
to do
they have in the Senate right now, the Republicans?
I don't know.
They don't have the supermajority, right?
No, they don't have a supermajority.
So a veto would work.
He can veto, and he's threatening that now. He's just saying, if you try and pull this crap, then I will veto it. And it's super fascinating. I just want you to watch it. We can keep track of the big points and see if it works.
Well, that's what I tried to do though with the thing that the 6-minute snippet I watched was a highlight reel. It was a 6-minute highlight reel of the speech. Okay. Went through I think 4 major points.
So you watched talking points. You watched the bits, the sound bites.
It's not like I didn't let anybody else speak for him. It was literally just his.
Sure,
his
but
speech,
I think it needs to be in context. I think it needs to be in full context.
Okay, and don't get me wrong. This is not an Obama attack. This is a politician attack.
I know,
I hate all of them.
The matter is they're part of our life, man. Like they're always going to be there, and this is going to be a thing. Like we're not escaping it.
But I used to think they mattered to my life, and I don't anymore. And believe me, it's freeing.
I mean,
it's so freeing not to care. It's so nice. Oh my God, it's like if I stopped caring about sports and like the Vikings lost the Super Bowl. I could wake up the next day and not give a shit.
Are you saying,
I would be devastated now.
So what if you were to go back to school and somehow a politician would give you free schooling for whatever reason or tax break? Or
I don't believe that I deserve free schooling.
You don't believe that you deserve free schooling?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't believe in free anything.
You don't believe free schooling?
I don't believe in free anything. Free food at Burger Mo's. Except for free food at Burger Mo's. Goddamn right. I don't know.
I mean, like you're just playing devil's advocate here.
I'm not crazy. Though.
You are.
I don't believe that any of this matters. I believe this entire conversation is irrelevant because I don't think that even Obama does what he says he's going to do, and I don't think he's in charge. I really don't think he's in charge.
Oh my God, we got some claps.
There are multi-trillion-dollar corporations that
run
the world.
It's such a pessimistic view of the world. It's like. It's just like tears me apart. That like you can't think that like going out and voting and like local politics and shit can change anything. It's just like insane to me. And when we like start giving these people the power and we become apathetic, like that's when it becomes an issue. It's serious.
I think we're past that.
I don't think
so. We're so past the apathetic part.
I don't ever think that there's.
We have the lowest voter turnout of any industrial country in the world.
Sure.
We're way past apathetic. No. Nobody in this country gives a shit. They care about whether or not they got their on-demand TV and whether or not they have their cell phone. And
I don't know who you're fucking hanging out with, but that is not the generation I see. The people that I'm hanging out with.
But I'm saying those are the people that aren't voting.
Sure.
So that's 50% of the population.
So, but then what? So then let the fucking intelligent people go out and get people elected that actually want to make changes.
But those intelligent people have gotten us trillions of dollars in debt and have ruined this fucking country.
Oh my God, ruined the country?
Oh, okay. Now I finally entered a little bit of hyperbole.
Oh my God. Like take a chill pill for a minute.
Literally,
ruined this country, he says. Please.
Hold on. I gotta grab.
It's just like all over. Like you might as well just go fucking die, right? Like fuck this world.
Well, no, that's what
fuck the politicians.
I have said.
Fuck America.
Politics. Yes.
Fuck everything. Nothing's working. Like.
Well, no, this is the greatest.
Okay.
The greatest part about this country is you can sit back and say fuck politics and still have a great life.
I
like,
completely
you don't even have to worry
agree.
about it.
I hate apathy. I fucking hate it. I hate apathy. I hate apathy about anything. Just at least care.
I think Jeff just said he couldn't give a shit that you hate apathy. All right. Well, on that note, let's take our quick little break to give our little props to Terry Daniel. We'll be right back here with the Minnesota Pubcast.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
Ain't no way to explain or say how painful the hangover was today. In front of the toilet, hands and knees, trying to breathe in between the dry heaves. My baby made me some coffee, afraid that if I drink some, it's probably coming right back out me. Couple couple of Advil. Relax and chill at a standstill with how bad I feel. I think I need to smell fresh air, so I stepped out the back door and fell down the stairs. The sunlight hit me dead in the eye, like it's mad that I gave half the day to last night. My bad sight made me trip on my ass right into that patch of grass, like that's life. All of a sudden, I realized something. The weather is amazing, even the birds are bumping. Stood up and took a look.
The debate continues on and off here.
Right that I forgot that I possessed. Never really seen exercise as friendly, but I think something's telling me to ride that 10 speed. The brakes are broken, it's alright. The tires got
Fucking
air
take
and the
it.
chain seems tight.
Trickle down economics doesn't
Now,
work.
we're talking tax
Fucking no,
policy now.
seriously?
We're talking
Take
tax
it.
policy. This
Take
is,
it. Seriously, take it from my family. Take it. We have enough.
I told you
I'm
this is
not
why
kidding.
I don't talk politics anymore on the fucking radio or podcast or anywhere.
Well, you know what? You have to. Sometimes
no
you just
winning.
have to.
Huh?
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, when we're ready to blow this bitch up and start over,
I just like.
Call me.
I'm just
I'm
like
in.
trying to find your notes on your alternative here. That's my thing. That's why I care, because right now there is no alternative. We kind of have to work with what we've got. We have to kind of fight to improve with what we have, and I don't think that that's a lost cause. I don't know what the alternative is.
that's where I can completely flip my own argument, though, and go, you know what? It's just fine. Like
It is.
Because this is actually where this is the problem here. It's so fucked up, especially from like people on the right.
That's
when
you
you
saying
hear
that.
Obama,
That's
you're gonna say this place so fucked up. It's just a mess. We just fucking need to blow it up. And I say that too. But then you can also just go, but it's nowhere near enough of a mess to where we're ever gonna get to where people actually like revolt or fight back, because
Sure.
we're all again apathetic. We're all happy. We're all fat. We're all living our lives. And compared to 99% of the countries in the world, we're
So much.
doing very well.
Right.
And I haven't been to 99% of the countries, but I'm just.
I mean, I
going.
guess that's kind of like the whole. That's it's the whole setup of our country, right?
Can I get a beer? Fuck.
I mean, that's. I don't know.
Can
I
I
mean,
get
that's
all
our
day?
system.
All day, yeah. Do you need one?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. All right.
No, I mean that's what the checks and balances are for, man. Like, come on, like we're kind of cruising along, and there's lots of fluctuation, and I just over time I've seen, study history. There's a lot of fucking amazing legislation and policies. Bye, guys. Amazing legislation and policies that have changed the world and changed this country for the better. And I still believe that things like that are out there and possible. And I think that there's a lot of day-to-day bullshit, and I think there's a lot of bureaucracy, and I think right now we're in the kind of this war of red and blue war, and I think that's sad. Do I think we're going to come out of it? Yes. And I think we have to keep remaining unapathetic. I think we have to keep caring.
I hope
What is
one
this?
day that people will do that. But like I said, I think that you're going to have to be put in a tougher situation to not be apathetic. I mean, people
Sure.
are. I mean, again, poor people in this country, quote unquote poor. I mean, there are truly poor people in this country, but quote unquote poor people in this country have TVs and refrigerators and cars and
Well.
like until even at
mean,
least
not really,
they're
but-
struggling to the point where it's like, it's
Yeah,
not going
but-
to change. It's not gonna, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, you want them to revolt? Is that what you mean?
I would love to see a revolt someday.
Oh
I would
my
love to.
God.
Yes, that's how
It's
far I've
just
gone.
it's just
I'm
it's
so
just
over it.
I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just
and you know what? When I was your age, I
oh
was.
my God! Don't bring
No,
age into
no.
this, Jason.
Yes, I am.
Don't.
I'm just saying. It's not because I'm 34 now, so I'm older and wiser. I'm just saying when I was your age, I did the same thing, and it's not because I was 26. What I'm saying is just that as a person, you may or may not, but I used to care so much about politics. I used to argue this stuff so much. I used to think that
I don't
everything
really
I
actually
said
argue
was
it.
so mattered.
This is the first argument I've had in a long time.
What do you mean?
don't say things anymore. I don't
About
say much
politics, you mean?
No, I don't say much anymore.
Because it's not worth it,
Sometimes
or
it's
because
not.
you don't
If-
think you're going to change minds,
If
or is
I
that
know,
the same thing?
well, and I think the people that I would be arguing with are people that I say argue as in like really like we're never going to come to a conclusion. I think that they're people that are so socially different from me, like Islamophobic or anti-gay or things that like kind of morally are different and probably more from a social political perspective rather than an economic perspective. There's no reason for me to talk about things like that anymore because I think socially we're moving forward. It's another huge thing. It's like gay marriage, like that has been a huge win from a legislative perspective. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about politics in the last few years has been things like that. Not necessarily from an economic perspective, obviously, but from a social perspective, those are how you. That is what makes me optimistic for the future. Things like that happening. I'm happy to have discussions about the economy and things like that, and taxes and closing tax loopholes and how we, and all that stuff. But it's kind of like that's slow burn type of thing. Like. It takes a long time to make change, but I think that's possible. So
I wonder, because now you got me thinking a little, because I've always been pro gay rights, pro anti racism, all of that kind of stuff, and that stuff has changed.
Oh my God, you're anti-racism?
I know. I'm going on a limb. I'm pretty bold.
Holy shit! I never
pretty
knew
bold
that about
like
you.
that. Yeah. But I wonder, because that stuff, you're right, it has changed, and for the better. But I just feel like I can't think of any other aspect. And maybe even, the fact that marijuana has been legalized in 6 states, as a person who thinks that all drugs should be legalized, maybe we're finally taking a step into a direction of saying people can be responsible for their own minds and their own bodies. So that's good.
And
that part
lives,
I would like. And I'm trying to... Because, okay, again, like when we've talked about this, my head's exploding because I'm going... Conspiracy theory, they're not. This is all for show. Like that whole speech you watched last night was a fucking movie, or is equal to one. And so for me, it's hard to think that it matters, but it has mattered in things that I do care about too. There have been some actual changes, but I wonder if that blows up my argument that there are quote unquote powers that be that are in charge of shit, or are those powers that be deciding that we're going to let them win certain things. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe if there really is people that tell Obama what to do in a dark room smoking cigars or whatever, if there is that, maybe they're even saying, look, in order to keep these guys down and not want to fight back, we'll keep giving them crumbs. We'll keep giving them, I hope that's not the case. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I can say is that's insane.
The thought of it, or what do you mean?
Yeah, you're the sole idea that is an actual thing to me is like crazy, and I really don't think I'm being naive, and I think it's slightly easy to get in that mindset, and you can get deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and you can make it the reasons for not caring and for thinking the way you do about the government. It's really easy to fall into that dark hole. It is.
See, and it was really easy for me though to just be a fucking right wing idiot too, like just to sit there and just throw out everything I was hearing from all my favorite right-wing columnists, and I was brain dead.
Sure.
And the problem was, and here's why I say, like, and you're only 20, or not bringing up your age, but just saying that, like, maybe where you are just in your life differently, is looking back, I hate who I was, or how pompous I was and how smart I thought I was, but I did at the time.
What was the basis
at the time,
of your
I
beliefs?
thought I was really smart.
Like, what were your kind of core beliefs as this like right-wing Republican?
Economics mostly. Everything started with economics.
Okay.
So to me, it was low taxes and money meant freedom.
It's so funny because you're so like anti-corporate now. Like you're so like the big man is running the show.
Yes.
But that is like that's a fucking light switch.
Right. No. And that's the exact way to put it, because the day that I went, I mean, literally, I have a podcast called "Why I'm Not Going to Vote for President and Ever Again." And it was all about, I finally just one day went, oh, wait a minute, it doesn't make any difference. Like, they don't care. They're all going, this country's going to go down a road, and it doesn't matter if you vote Democrat, Republican, it's going down the same road. And that's where I'm saying, where I think that there are. I think there are people that are in charge and are guiding this whole political process. And it's a sad way to look at it, but to me it's just so much easier.
No. No. I mean, I think the same system that is keeping us in check and balances. So things like that you don't like that happened in a district court move up to the Supreme Court and things like that, and then it's overturned. And those checks and balances of Congress that's saying Obama doesn't want them to do it, he vetoes it. Those same checks and balances are also what is kind of keeping us in a little bit of a rut, like keeping us from reforming and keeping us. I mean, the founding fathers put the Constitution in place for a reason,
Well, slow change.
Very slow change. And so that's why I think it's hard to come to the conclusion that we're going on this horrible road and nothing's ever going to happen and everything's horrible. But then you also get this kind of that swing back, right? I mean, it's very interesting dichotomy of how our government is built, which is like kind of optimistic. So it's hard to get kind of out of bad shit, and it's also easy to get out of bad shit. You know, it's like it's a super fascinating way that our government works. And that's why I love like going back and really reviewing the founding fathers, and their like reason for all this stuff was brilliant.
Did you ever watch John Adams?
No, I didn't watch John Adams.
Oh my God, you should.
I got to read that book.
Thomas
too.
Jefferson, other than the whole, like
slavery
thing, and banging his slaves and fathering children with slaves, and then other than that, God, he was spot on a lot of shit. He just seriously, and in that show they do nail a lot of it, and a lot of his stuff. I mean, he wrote the Declaration of Independence, which talks a lot about slavery, even all men being created equal and all that. It doesn't specifically say anything about slavery, but I mean, he's the one that wrote that paperwork or that laid that foundation for all that to change, and that is actually what's so crazy about our founding fathers is where they were to be able to write what they wrote, envisioning where it would go. Mm-hmm. None of us are going to ever. I mean, I will never be half that smart. Like I could just never even. I can't even fathom it.
No.
Like it just.
No, our
obviously you're going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I can tell you to that.
I mean, our Constitution is a fascinatingly specific and fascinatingly vague, and that is the coolest part about it. And that is why, like, I just always just feel secure in this country. I think that a lot keeps us from bad shit, and a lot of bad shit's, can happen.
You and I just crossed a path, though, that I used to cross with my buddy Jesse all the time. And that was, he would always, when we'd get to this point, he'd go, but the Constitution doesn't mean shit. Piss on it. It's gone. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And I would go, but no, like, everything is about, without the Constitution, there is no America.
Nothing,
there is no, we don't have this freedom, blah, blah, blah. And, again, until you just, like, however you want to word it, fall down this abyss that I've fallen down, have this enlightenment, I like to look at it as that, or a light bulb going on or something. But until you're there, you'll never be able to see it. And that's why I've talked about this. It seems condescending. And that's why, especially when I brought up the age, I totally understand what you're hearing.
What do you mean it seems condescending?
For me to go, I'm basically saying you just don't get it. That's what I'm trying to say. You just don't get it yet. And you may never, or I don't, but I think I do, whatever it is. But what happened was, I did click one day, and I just went, nope. That is all a joke. It's all smoke and mirrors, and that is a depressing way of looking at it too. I mean,
it is.
It's a defeatist. It's a giving up on it. But again, I mean, I used to every single day, townhall.com and editorial page, and just all day reading, following, studying politics. It's so nice to get away from it. It really is.
No, it is. It's a way to not be exhausted. I mean, I don't. I have my views, and I kind of stick with them, and the fact of the matter, maybe they'll change one day. The only thing that my family members say to me that are Republican, that vote Republican, are, well, one day you're going to make as much money as we are, and you're not going to want to be taxed. And it's like, okay, I really fucking hope that that's why I'm not voting, and that's kind of why I still, I don't know, I can't like leave it alone yet.
Were you more vocal earlier? Like, did you used to be more like, I wanted to argue it with people?
I was the most vocal in college when I was in Iowa City, which is an incredibly vocal city. I was very involved in local politics, and I also was studying politics, studying political science and journalism.
And now you're taking a little more of a backseat?
I'm trying. It's like morally, I know what I believe. Like, I know I'll always believe in gay rights. I know I'll always, that type of stuff. I try and be a little more open-minded about what exactly my politicians are doing and really making a conscious decision if I agree with that or not, rather than like blindly agreeing with Obama.
Yes, or with a Republican. Yeah, that goes both ways,
yes. And I try and give the whole picture of why someone is making a certain decision, rather than they're Republican, they're Democrat, and that's why they're doing that, and that's why I agree, and that's why I don't agree. I try and kind of see the whole picture, and that has kept me a little more center. I'll probably be voting for a Democrat for a long time, but I think that has made me less like angry and like, I gotta fight. Like, I'm trying to find a reason for these things.
Are you opposed to term limits? The idea of term limits?
Absolutely not.
See, and I don't think term limits is a right-left issue. I don't understand, but
No.
well, and I do understand why it doesn't come up because the politicians don't want to bring it up.
Sure.
But why can't we get a little bit of a groundswelling for that? Because I do feel that every single politician, the second they're elected, everything they do is to get reelected.
Yeah.
And that's all about money.
That's the coolest part about Obama's speech last night. He didn't give a fuck. He did not give a fuck. He was just like ready to do what he wanted to do.
Do you think if he thought there would be Democrats that would lose fundraising because of what he said, you think he would just still say it? He just would not give a fuck?
I don't know. Lose fundraising? I mean, everything he said
his
last night
biggest
was
job right now is to be a fundraiser. For the rest of his presidency, that's all he is.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. His stuff was just so, like, obviously Democratic, appealing to the Democratic base. Like, just his ideas. Like I said, free tuition, helping women get contraceptives, cheap child care, making sure that the minimum wage is raised, income equality, helping the middle class. I mean, they were just like the fundamentals of what Democrats believe. So it's like, how, if you're kind of going to go against any of that, like, equal pay for women, which I thought was really interesting because Boehner didn't stand up and none of the Republicans did. I was like, really? None of you really believe in equal pay for women? Like, the only time that Boehner stood up was talking about the military, thanking veterans, making sure veterans are getting jobs, and kind of crossing the bridge and like getting over that bullshit hump of red and blue. And that was
and Boehner actually cheered for that.
Yeah, he stood up. I mean, there were times he clapped.
Full of shit.
Yeah. I mean, he did kind of one of these. I'm showing Jason, but like
the most actually, I'm
like
sorry.
the sign as he's doing the small clap, and of course Biden's like, fuck yeah. Biden's just like,
the greatest part of the State of the Union is watching the Vice President and the Speaker of the House. That is always the best.
Fantastic.
Those two behind the scenes,
and it's fantastic. And you get Biden with his facial expressions, who holds nothing back.
No.
And then you get Boehner, who is just like, you can tell he's just like, fuck, like I gotta do something, like.
Biden looked like he was trying to keep up the fact that he was pissed the whole time too. Like he looked
Biden
like
was
he's
pissed?
acting like he's pissed, which annoyed me.
Oh, what? I
worse.
thought he was like looked all like content, like yeah.
Oh no, I thought and again I only saw that 6-minute clip, but he's sitting there and it just. I don't know. Because again, I remember, I look at it like WWF. I look at it like after the speech, they go in the back room and they're all high-fiving each other, like Republicans and Democrats.
I mean,
laughing
they do it on camera.
But I'm saying
shake hands and hug on camera.
But I'm saying they actually like each other behind the scenes, and it's all an act.
Well,
again,
and
that's how I
like
I'm
you are
looking at it from
hitting
the
on
outside.
points that he specifically like he was like talking everything that pissed you off, which I think is like so funny.
But again, everything. The other part that he would have said that would have pissed me off is free college and shit, which he also said in the 08 speech that I was at, or the 06.
I don't know.
Wait, it would have been 08. He was elected in 08, right?
Yeah, he was elected in 08. I'm sorry. I was like, I don't remember him.
It would have been
I don't
the
remember him
07
talking
year
about.
when he came here.
I don't remember him talking about free college.
Yeah, I remember that being one of his big things when he was running for president, was that it was going to be free college.
That's cool. Well, he's got 2 more years.
Has anything changed? And I'm not being facetious. I think he changed the forgiveness. Like after 25 years, your loans are forgiven. Was that different?
Well, there's been some changes, and if you know this, tweet at us, whatever, Facebook us. There has been some changes, and like he has tried to get some loans forgiven, and he mentioned something about that last night, and I don't remember the specifics of it. That's kind of the only big thing I can think of, and like stuff like like the DREAM Act and things like that. But that not huge overhauls of the education system. I mean, we still obviously have a huge student loan problem, which is something that I'm not happy with at all. So I don't know.
Well, okay, just since we've gone down this road for basically the whole show, let's just go on a little other
Talk
tangent.
about movies for like 15 minutes.
That's true, but when it comes to education, isn't the problem the cost of education and the fact that these colleges just think they can raise tuition fucking $10,000 a year and nobody's going to care?
And
don't you think that
there's a lack of affordable education options?
Okay, but I think the problem is that you have these government-backed loans that that nobody's afraid to give out because they're government-backed. So they don't care what the amount is.
Sure.
So therefore, the school's just going to keep if somebody has to eventually go, I don't think that the U's worth $60K. Like somebody has to at some point go, this is outrageous. It's the cost of the education itself.
That's what everyone's
outrageous.
saying. I mean, you're That's what everyone's saying.
But to me, it sounds like the way they're going to solve it is just give more loans.
No, it's
or free, which is even worse. You should at least have to pay it back.
I don't see, but that's where we kind of differ on this whole thing. It's like I think if we're investing in core necessities like that, where we're investing in people getting a job, getting educated because they need a job, and that job needs an education.
Okay, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but so then are you going to say you're writing the legislation?
Sure.
Are you saying then that you can only get a free college tuition if it's for a degree that you will get a job immediately out of college for?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't examined that much. I mean, I know that it's right now he's focusing on free community college, so it's jobs that are specified to trade. So you're going to go more into, like medical assistant and things like that have a good pay, and then you don't have the student loans and are stable and growing. So I know that that's the focus of it. They're not talking about four-year education. They're not talking about university. They're talking about just people getting past that hump of high school to college and then getting them a stable job out of college. I don't know if it has to be. I would assume they're not forcing you to get a job in that. But that would make the most sense, right?
What I'm afraid of, though, is that we're going to give out loans for people to go and get, like a degree in psychology. And what the fuck did I, who's also got to pay my own loans back, why am I giving more money to someone else to get a degree that may or may not get them a job and may or may not be a job that we need?
Sure, but first of all, there's Pubcast 2-year college, like I said, not 4 years. So I don't know if you can get a 2-year psych degree at community college.
I would hope not.
I mean,
that's not what they're doing. I mean, I hope you're not a therapist after 2 years or something.
No, that's why I mean, the fact of the matter is that college graduates, whether it's community college, technical college, or 4-year colleges, they are getting jobs at much higher rates. You cannot not have a college education anymore. And, I think the people that don't want to go to college probably aren't going to go to college. And I think the people that want to go to college, but something's been holding them back, like the loans, I think it's going to convince them to go a little bit more.
What if you could get... When you go to college, at least like I am right now, when you take out loans, you don't just take them out for school. You also get them for personal, so you can pay rent and car payment or whatever,
like that,
books. So again, I'm afraid of a system that might encourage people to go to school because, hey, I'll also get $2,000 more to go buy a car or whatever.
But I think they're talking about free tuition. We're not talking about free tuition, money. They're not talking about.
I'm just worried that it's turning into free loans.
They're not saying here's $10,000, do it as you please. It is going directly to the school, and you're getting free tuition. You are going to classes. You are going, and I'm sure there's something that shows like you have to be there and you have to graduate.
Right. So then the scary part becomes we've got to do something about the cost because even if that is a problem solver, the colleges are going to just keep raising those rates.
But I think that's why it's a good place.
Keep paying more for it too. Then,
and that's why it's a good place to start with community college. It's low cost already, but it still hinders some people from going because the cost is significant enough.
Did you say it'd be vocational too?
I don't know.
Because I think that's another.
I don't know.
That's another road that I think in this country we've really stressed. You need a 4-year bachelor degree in X, and that's even go get your psychology degree. Even if you want to be a manager of a restaurant, because everybody's got a degree, you have to have one. And I want degrees that have purpose.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that also is spurring economic development. I mean, we need. Companies are just starting to move jobs back from China to the U.S., but those are all going to be more like manufacturing type of jobs where people need to be trained in how to use large, heavy equipment, and those are the type of jobs that I think they're hoping this kind of free education helps spur.
That's also are you scared by that thought too, though?
No.
Because, let me finish. No, but manufacturing is like Detroit, for instance, is one of the biggest things about why China is now maybe considered the biggest economy in the world is we don't make anything anymore. Mm-hmm. But with the sophistication of technology too, even if you're going to have a bunch of jobs that are more manufacturing type, it's still going to be robotic. It's still going to be very limited manpower necessary. We're just not in the industrial revolution anymore.
Right. I mean, but you have to have people that are trained to program and use those robots and be there to fix them. And I think we're also moving into a part of time where there's going to be a lot of energy jobs that are going to be created. So super fascinating. See you in 2 years and we'll check back in. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't want to talk politics until the next presidential election.
I was like really hoping to hear about this weird girl thing. 2 girls do it on purpose, but we'll have to do it tomorrow.
We'll just have to. That's what we call in the biz. That's the old tease. So we'll talk about that
2
tomorrow.
girls do it on purpose.
Dude, girls do it on purpose. That's a new segment. I like it. All right. Well, so we'll be back tomorrow from Margera's. This is our last show. This is the final show from Burger Mo's. Are you gonna be sad? I mean, I'm gonna still be here all the fucking time.
I'm gonna miss the tots.
I'll have to bring you some tots.
Yeah.
I'll bring him to the studio sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. For Molly Burke, I'm Jason McGovern. This is the Minnesota Pubcast. We will see you next time.